Our next presenter is a beautiful, hilarious, wry, loving, brilliant woman. She is the ultimate survivor. Please welcome Pamela Lynn Hock. Don't get your hopes up because of that. First, I want to say that my amygdala is an asshole. And for those of you who don't know what an amygdala is, it's the part of your brain in the temporal lobe that tells you whether you should punch somebody in the face or run away from them. There's also this other part where you just kind of stand there and you stop and you don't know what to do. Now, the funny part about my amygdala is that somewhere along the way, I know exactly when, things got messed up. You see, I'm a survivor of sex trafficking. From the age of 13 to almost my 18th birthday, I was coerced and threatened into being sold for sex to greedy, horrible, evil people. So, over those 4 years, I experienced hell. And it's really hard for me to talk about the emotional part of that. But logically, I can tell you, here's what happened. I was taken from my home and my family, and I was forced to do things that no one should ever have to do. And I wouldn't wish what happened to me on the people who trafficked me. That's how bad it was. So my amygdala now, after I was diagnosed with complex post-traumatic syndrome, it doesn't work right anymore. See, what happens is that I hear a bang or a noise, and I automatically think, danger, 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 run. And sometimes that really sucks, because this response that's supposed to keep me safe puts me in an emotional position that I'm not prepared to handle most of the time. Being able to sit on this front row with my back towards all of you strangers. I don't know what your intentions are. I don't know if you have a knife that you're gonna stab in my back. I don't know who you are and if you want to hurt me. That's what PTSD has done to me. But I want to tell you a story about the time that I overcame my PTSD in the most amazing way. You see, much like Aaron, I love to sing. It's my safe place. It's the place where I can go and kind of black out and be in that safe area, where as long as I'm singing, nothing can happen. So what happens when I have a PTSD attack right before I'm supposed to go on stage and sing one of my favorite songs at karaoke? My amygdala is an asshole. So I'm standing outside with my friends, and this really sketchy looking man comes and joins our group. But he doesn't just join our group in a way like he wants to be friendly. He joins our group in a way that makes me think he has ulterior motives. And he's just standing there next to me. And immediately my mind jumps into flee mode. I have to leave. But I say, no, Pam, we're not gonna do this. We're having a good time. We're gonna stay here and we're gonna get through this. It's gonna be okay. So I move to the other side of the circle. And this sketchy man, he also moves to the other side of the circle with me. And some of you might be thinking, yeah, that's kind of weird. I would probably feel weird about that too. But in my head, I'm thinking I'm overreacting. Like, calm down, Pam, it's just a person. You don't see a gun, you don't see a knife, he doesn't have a mask on, he's not gonna hurt you. And I said, well, you haven't seen the evil that I've seen that comes in the forms of all of you. See, Stephen King once said, monsters are real and ghosts are real too. They live inside us and sometimes they win. And sometimes fear of the unknown is not the biggest fear in the world. It's what I already know. what I already know people are capable of. So as this man's standing next to me, I'm thinking, is this it? He's gonna come into this karaoke club with all these happy people and he's gonna shoot us all, and it's all gonna be over. And if I don't run right now, I'm gonna be that person, and I didn't survive through what I survived through to die at a karaoke bar. So I was like, well, it's almost time for me to sing. I'm gonna go back inside. So I go back inside, and luckily for me, the KJ, one of my best friends, he also suffers with PTSD, but he's a combat veteran. See, I fought the war that we don't talk about, and he fought in the war that everybody talks about. So I knew that at least he had my back, you know. So I go in and I take my chair, I move it to the wall, and I'm sitting on the edge of the wall looking. If I were a superhero, my power would be hypervigilance, because I see everything, and I know where every exit in the building is, and I know how far I would have to run in order to get to safety. So I was sitting in my hypervigilant state, and I'm sitting there, I'm watching this guy come back in, and he walks across down the aisle. And he goes and he sits in the very back booth by himself, doesn't have a drink, doesn't have food, and he's sitting there, and all I'm thinking is, this is it. This is the way I go. But an amazing thing happens, and I notice that other people are seeing this man. And we're looking across at each other, kind of like, yeah, he's sketchy. And I'm like, yeah, isn't he? Like, I'm not crazy. So needless to say, the way that I overcame my PTSD in that scenario was I got up there and I sang, because fuck that guy. Amen. You're not going to take Amygdala, what I love to do, away from me. So I'm constantly in a battle with my logical responses and the responses that I have that come from complex PTSD. I have a fear of remembering. I have a fear of survivor's guilt. And if you could see me, you would see that I am not an inspiration. And I know that sounds like self-defeating, but it's not. I really want people to understand, because sometimes my story has been tried to be used as a commodity. Like, here's this woman who's not afraid to speak out about the fact that she was trafficked. Oh my God, that's so amazing. Tell me about everything that you lived through and all this stuff. And you know what I want most? I want people to stop looking at me as an inspiration and be as hyper-vigilant as my amygdala makes me, and look out into the world and you tell me what you see and you help them. I don't want empathy, I don't want sympathy, I don't want pity, I want work. I want whatever you can do. And you say, Pamela, I don't know what I can do. This is such a tall order. You know, it goes on in America and in third world countries, and how can we battle such a horrific thing? You can donate your time. You can donate your money. You can listen to people like me tell their stories and not think of me as an inspiration and say, you know what, I want to do what she's doing. Because I'm not just a survivor of sex trafficking. 53 minutes. I'm a person who fucks up a lot, and sometimes I don't want to get out of bed. And sometimes I just want to live as a normal person. When my brain is trying to convince me that I'm not normal and that these girls that I lost will be with me forever and their faces will never go away. So please, don't call me an inspiration. And don't tell me thank you. It's not because I don't deserve it, because I believe we're all deserved, we all deserve love and compassion. I just want something done about it. Thank you.
And now she's laughing in the front row.
That's what we do.
I'm going to break your rules, and I'm going to tell you thank you. Please give her another round.